I'll let you know. All right, we're live now. So, can you hear me clearly or am I staticky? Okay, so let me see what it looks like. Let me see what it looks like on the YouTube.
Okay.
And then, okay, and then now when I cue you in the talk, then you'll unmute your mic.
Okay.
Okay, I can see it. All right, let me move this over. Move it over a little bit. And it's just us talking. So, all right, everybody, this is Monica Lamb. Most people call me Mo with Tri City Visionaries, and I am accompanied by my sister. Let's see, the icon she has up is Goddess Finesse, but Miss Alicia Parker on Facebook. If you need to contact either of us, you can hit me up at tricityv@gmail.com, and you can, and Miss Alicia, she'll let you know where you can hit her up. And so basically this evening, what we want to do is we just want to have a little dialogue, a little discussion on the student loan crisis, give some best practices and some information out to individuals who may be interested based on student loans. So again, my name is Monica and I'm with Tri-City Visionaries, and I have accompanied me Miss Alicia Parker, and I'll let her introduce and give her background.
You
Hey
are Monica.
Alicia.
Hi, Monica. Can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes, I
me,
can hear
sir?
you fine. Yes.
Peace and blessings, everyone. My business name is Goddess Finesse, but I also own. I'm part of called AMTD, Student Loan Consultants 123, and that is the website also, which we will be posting in the notes today as well. Um, I guess we're going to be giving some constructive feedback as to where people can to get assistance with their student loan debt, ways to manage and strategize how they can pay off their debt. Um, One of the biggest issues that I'm familiar with that to date that's really plaguing a lot of people is the interest accrual on a lot of the loans that we have. The student loan accrual, keep in mind, it increases for the length of the loan. So actually originate the loan itself, once it goes out of grace, meaning once it goes into repayment, whether you stop going to school or whether you graduate, you do have a grace period. If you graduate, it's like 6 months. But after that, the loan again, your debt will start accruing interest if you're not making payments or if you are making payments. And if you say, hey, I can't afford to pay my loans off the break, you extend time on the back end of the loan. So that's going to make you pay more back on your loans. But we're going to be getting into that further today with Monica and Tri City, so that we can try to better help strategize or help people strategize paying off their student loan debt.
High five, Alicia. And exactly, and this is exactly where we want to dialogue about. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna ask a few questions, and I'll let Miss Alicia chime in, and if I have anything to add, we'll work it out that way. But I noticed so far, so why, what is the concern about student loans? Why is Mo interested in whether or not someone can afford to pay their college loans, or they either understand the student loan process? Well, I noticed I kind of got really interested into it is when my niece and my little cousin attended school, and I realized that not only were they given student loans, they still had a balance after the loans were given. That was kind of unheard of for me, because when I attended undergraduate school, 16 years ago, or 17 years ago, normally when the person received a student loan or applied for a student loan, it was to cover the remaining balance of the school year, or the tuition or whatever expenses that student may had. So that was unheard of for me. And so I went on a kind of a research journey of trying to understand what has changed, why are our students left with balances after receiving student loans, and what are some of the preventive measures that we can take to one either maximize the grant process, scholarship process, or if we did have to take student loans, how do we educate and bring awareness to students who have the student loans? And so my first question to Miss Alicia um, would be, okay, I got your question. Um, where can I find student loan assistance? So where can I find financial assistance with student loans?
Um, while you're a student attending college, the best option would be to go to your financial aid office. And after or before you take the counseling course, before you receive monies to go to school, I feel is the best time to start asking questions about how is the debt going to be managed? When are you going to be responsible for the debt? What is the interest rate on the loans or the monies that they're providing for you per semester that you're applying for financial aid? With the semester, when does the loan go into repayment? And who is servicing your loan? A lot of times people receive monies or grants if you don't meet your GPA, go into repayment, and so they'll automatically go to what they call a loan servicer. Start with your financial aid loan counselor first, and then if you didn't meet your criteria, then you want to go right to the financial aid office and ask them who's servicing your loan so that you can try to get your GPA back up. That while you're in school. Now, as long as you're in school, whether you have a if you have a below average GPA, you can get what they call an in-school deferment. Now, an in-school deferment, keyword deferment, in school, your loan won't be accruing interest. And that's what you'll want to do to save yourself a lot of times with these student loan debts. If you can stop the interest, then that means you have the loan, but you actually have the loan at no additional fees associated with it.
Absolutely. Definitely. And I think most students who receive loans, especially if they're in school, they're not really paying attention to the the information or the do's and the don'ts. They're like, okay, I got some money to pay my school, and they go ahead on about their affairs. Yes. So what are some of the hot buttons in finance education? Like what are some of when like I noticed when I went on the college campus, there were students, they were freshmen. This was in particular to freshmen, brand new on the campus, first time in college, probably the first generation out of their family to attend college. And so they're in the lobby of the financial aid office. They had no clue.
Mm-hmm.
They either were there alone or they were there with some may have had parents with them, and then others were just kind of like lost. And
Right.
so if
Well,
if you
there's
had it to go ahead.
there are quite a few tips that I could give a college freshman. I know that it's hard your first year, especially when you're trying to juggle living on your own. If you're living in a dormitory on campus or off campus without your parents or your family there. But there are some very important things that you'll want to remember as a freshman because you grasp the foundation for your first year of school, then every year it gets a little bit easier with managing the things that come along with being a freshman. a college student. Some of the tips that I would like to give, first and foremost, would be go to every single orientation that your school may offer, depending upon whether it's just to welcome you to the school or get to know your faculty and staff. Go to every orientation, okay? If you have a roommate, I know sometimes it's hard to get along with people that we're just meeting, but try to make sure that you buddy and uh, uh, meet like your mentors or your big brothers in your resident hall. Another very important thing, I'm going to keep that in the top three, would be to get organized as soon as possible. As soon as you get into school, you'll want to get organized. I don't care if you have to put a cork board up to let you know when dates that things are due for your financial aid, so that you're not put out of school while you think your financial aid is taken care of. But get organized, okay? And that means to buy an organizer or use an app on your iPhone, or put a big wall up in your room. Make sure that you're keeping up with all your due dates for all your financial information and things that need to be turned in and signed. If you're an independent student, you want to make sure you have all your tax information. If you're a dependent student, make sure you have your parents' information on hand, a hard copy, so that you can take it into that financial aid office so that it is with you. Okay. Another thing I would like to mention is make sure that you find a great place to study. I don't care if it's in the corner of your room, in the middle of the library, in the dining hall. Make sure you have a great place where you can study and maintain your success at school. And please don't get involved with the upperclassmen who can juggle partying and all that other stuff. Make sure that you go to class like you're supposed to. Don't skip class, because it's important. Your GPA is important so that you can maintain your money that's coming in for school and you don't fall behind. What you'll want to do is also become an expert at your course requirements and your due dates. So even if it means bugging your professor and asking him what needs to be turned in, what's due, what date is it due, make sure that you follow that course curriculum to the tooth and nail, because you want to make sure that you're turning in all your assignments on time, to make sure that you're not this late turning in your information so that your GPA doesn't drop. Get to know your academic advisor, so that if things aren't working out for you, you're taking a philosophy class and it's too much for you. You want to be able to talk, have a one-on-one talk with your academic advisor to make changes to your courses, your scheduling for the class, or make it a 2-day class versus a 5-day class, to try to give yourself a break amongst your hard classes. And then ultimately, you want to seek a balance. You want to try to figure out what balance is perfect for you so that you can manage everything and that you're doing good in school to manage your success. Some other things that you'll want to keep in mind is get involved with people on campus. Make sure that you get to know people, the organizations, the sororities, the clubs, the fraternities, the sports teams, because your network at school could be some of the biggest help to you while you're trying to graduate. Some of these organizations give out scholarship opportunities. They allow you to help cover some portions of the monies for class, or they could be giving away free items. You never know. All the help that you need and the resources that you need are going to be with the network and the people that you meet while you're in school on campus. Another thing that you want to make sure that you do is always make sure that you don't feel too pressured as to selecting a major, okay? But you want to keep in mind that the classes that you're taking kind of have an idea about would enjoy making and what type of things that you would enjoy doing career-wise. You want to make sure that your degree, the degree that you receive, is one that you can use to be profitable. You want to make sure that the degree that you're obtaining allows you to make money to help you discover having ample income or more income that you degree. You want to make sure that you're able to care for yourself while you're exploring majors and career opportunities while you're in college. And don't wait till you're a sophomore to decide exactly what it is that you would like to be and do. Try to figure that out as a freshman before you go into your sophomore year so that you don't waste too much time in college. Keep in mind, the more time you're in school, the more it's going to cost you when you complete.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And again, just don't procrastinate. You know, a lot of times I know we get overwhelmed. We're trying to deal with home situations. We're trying to deal with school situations. While you're in college and you're a student, you have to maintain your finances and your financial aid and curriculum, but you also want to make time for yourself too. And I know that being a college student means that you don't have that much money, but again, the networks that you make while you're in college and the people that you meet should be like your home away from home, so that you don't feel like you're there all by yourself. Try to manage your money, and also try to meet professionals in the field that you're interested in. So if it means visiting different jobs and things of that nature, just call their HR department and see if they have an internship, or see if you can visit the job to see what kind of see what people are doing in that corporation or that business. That way it'll help you make um, decisions as to what you want to do in the future. But
Absolutely.
those are
And I'm
just
glad
some of the things I recommend.
yes, and I'm glad you made that point because there was an article in Forbes magazine that stated that the total outstanding student loan debt reached $1.3 trillion, the second largest source of debt in the U.S. And a lot of the millennials feel like they have received, they were pushed to get college education, and then now that they have this college education, they cannot find or their jobs that they have don't pay them enough to even afford to pay off the student loan debt. So the struggle is real for them. And so one of their
Yeah,
comments is that the reason they have a crisis is because a lot of the millennials. And then that article goes on to say that a lot of that student loan debt is in default.
right.
So let's talk about some preventive measures. You have your educational grant programs. There's scholarships. There's crowdfunding for education. They can sell their books, get reimbursement, maybe to pay for books for next semester. Um, And then
Uh,
there's these different types of colleges: community college versus private college, online versus traditional or non-traditional. What are some of the jobs that are like, for instance, I remember when I was in when I graduated from undergrad, I worked for USDA, and then I had a peer who also worked for USDA. Now the difference between the two is that the Department of Agriculture had paid for his school because someone had shared with him that if you major in agriculture, that you only were obligated 1 year. You had to work for them 1 year after graduation. So they
right.
took it upon themselves to major in agriculture and minor in what they were really interested in. So they got their school paid
Hmm.
for. They got a job after college, which was a federal job. So if they did accumulate in student loans, they had the opportunity to get that written off. And then once he was there, after being there that year, they offered to pay a master's for him to do another year. So he went through undergrad and master's program free of charge by way of Department of Agriculture.
Hmm.
And so I think that some of our students coming out of high school are unaware of some of the education or
Yeah,
some of the degree programs that will actually pay for their school. I think a lot of our kids are just getting information based on marital status. Well, if they can get an academic scholarship or maybe an athletic scholarship, and they're bypassing what other career fields that can actually give them scholarships. for college
You,
to keep them
a
away.
lot of times students, there's so much information out there regarding student loans, grants, about their volunteer programs, public service, teaching avenues to help with loan forgiveness or help with contributions towards your education. But you're really going to have to in the resources that you have available to you so that you can chime into it or hone into how you can get them to pay off a certain percentage of your loans. I'm familiar with the public service loan forgiveness, and I know a lot of times when you are an intern, you can qualify for a lot of different agencies and sub-agency jobs with the federal government for loan repayment or monies towards your degree and your and graduate studies. Um, if you're going into preparedness for that type of internship, what I would advise is make sure your KSAs are just answers and questions to apply for these jobs so that you're selected for the federal job opportunities or federal work opportunities to better help you get or gain an internship. And you want to keep in mind with the change of presidency, also a lot of times they reduce government employment opportunities. So you're going to have to be sharp with those KSAs and the answers that you provide on those questionnaires for federal job opportunities as well to land those jobs that you need to help pay off your student loan debt.
Absolutely.
Um,
And the KSAs are knowledge, skills, and abilities, correct?
yes. Another thing that you'll want that students will want to keep in mind, Peace Corps, AmeriCorps. Those are two opportunities that students can elect that will give you the opportunity to volunteer in your summertime when you're off as a student. If you join AmeriCorps, if you join Peace Corps, the time that you spend in other countries helping people with like water or helping them create like ways for them to earn money for themselves abroad and things of that nature, you can get time off of your student loan. You get a portion of your monies off your student loan debt as well. Um, those are two more avenues that I can think of just off the top of my head. But public service is a great sector student loan debt. Even if you're not awarded the full amount of the loan forgiveness, it's a good opportunity for you to make ample enough income for you to take at least a fourth or an eighth of your income from the salary that you're receiving to pay off your student loan debt on time, versus getting a job that might be paying, I'm not trying to talk about anybody's income, but like a $12 an hour job, knowing that you have your a student loan debt of like 38,000. You have to be mindful of your debt to income ratio.
And then now that you say that, how does a person? So of course they've gone to college. Now they have this student loan debt. How do they
Mm-hmm.
find out who their student loan servicer are? Because I know a lot of people stuck on the word Sally Mae for student loans, but that has changed.
Yeah, Sally Mae is bought out by someone else now.
Got you.
Studentloans.gov or Department of Education, when you call the main number, when you provide them with your social security number, they can pull up every loan servicer that's associated with your social security number. And they'll tell you who has your loan.
Exact and that is very important because if that loan goes into default, then they may send your loan to a third party, right, for collection.
Yes, and that's something that you'll want to avoid because now you're talking about somebody else who's got their hand in your debt. And 9 times out of 10, if they're a third party, or again your loan has been unpaid for more than 3 to 5 years, you'll have somebody else trying to collect not only the debt amount, but they'll be asking for a fee associated with the collection as well.
Absolutely. And um so let's talk about, so since we on that part, so it's studentloans.gov, they go, they see a list of their student loans, and let's say that they aren't making enough. Let's, they got $100,000 worth of debt, they only making about $36,000.
Yeah.
Some of the options, I know people, we talk about the forgiveness, cancellation, and discharge,
Hmm.
but there's also, the repayment program. I remember you mentioning something before, some people get involved with the repayment, but there's some circumstances to those, right?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's not easy. And if I were a student in student loan repayment, the first thing I would do was think about how much I needed to be making when I graduated from college. When I graduate from college, how much do I need to make to satisfy my student loan debt and still be able to live happy, stress-free life by acquiring the things that I need versus the things that I want, paying off the debt.
Yeah.
A lot of times they'll ask you, if you go to the studentloans.gov site, that all servicers are governed by the regulations for student loan debt, the requirements, everything that you need to know about student loan debt is on the main site through the federal government. And repayment and consolidation, those are your options. When you go
Yes.
there, you can look at all of the different repayment options that you have. You're going to be making using a repayment estimator, which is a calculator, okay? And it will tell you, it will give you every option that's available to you for loan repayment. And you select the one that's going to be more comfortable for you. You select the long-term repayment option or a short-term. The short-term loan repayment option would reduce the interest, but your payments would probably be higher, okay, every month. Uh, like an income-based repayment, it may be lower per month, but keep in mind that the length of the loan may extend the duration or the time that you want to repay the loan back, adding more interest to your repayment. So there are a lot of different alternatives that people have in loan repayment.
Yes. And so there so I guess that, so in reference to deciding whether or not you, well, most people who don't have a scholarship or any grants or an intern or
Hmm.
anything to help them with their college tuition, is very important for them to research how much they're going to be paying for school, and whether or not they will put forth the effort to get the type of job or to create wealth to be able to repay the student loan.
Yes.
Um, what is some? Do you know of any career fields that, other than, so I know the military has a repayment program. I know
Hmm.
Department of Agriculture, they'll pay for schooling. Do you know of any other? Well, I know companies have tuition uh,
Reimbursement.
reimbursement
Yes.
programs out there,
I can
based
tell you
on. Go
a
ahead.
few off the top of my head. Verizon has a student loan repayment intern. Um, a lot of telecommunication agencies do. You'll want to look for things that say TSU and BRAC. And the best thing about those two programs, they deal with telecommunications and they also deal with transportation. So companies that fall underneath of those sectors would be like Amtrak. Uh, what's the biggest one in what is it?
Which type of company you speaking of?
Yes, yes. Um, who else?
Oh, you said
Who else?
gas,
Oh,
fuel?
yes,
Oh, like
yes.
Exxon and Shell and all that?
Yes, if you're doing like oil rigging, or
Oh,
oil.
oh, yeah.
Yes, and
Okay,
a lot of people
okay.
sleep. A lot of people sleep on those type of job opportunities. I don't know why. They're some of the biggest jobs who are hiring as far as engineering is concerned, but those incomes start out in the six digits.
Yes. Def definitely. I'm gonna pull up. I had brought up an article. I'll bring it up again. Keep talking. I'm gonna bring it up.
They I know an offshore oil rig engineer. I believe the starting salary I saw for it was like 108,000 a year.
Yes. Yes.
I was amazed. You want to get into systems administration, anything that uh, computer information. All this information can be found through your through federal and state government is what I've noticed is what's going to pay you the most. Now, I can do some research as far as the companies who are like offshore rigging, and but they change just like phone companies change, believe it or not, the names and everything and the ownership. That's one way
Yes.
that you can help earn and knock out your student loan debt. I mean, who would be able to pay their student loan debt with an income like that? And another good way to pay off your student loan debt. I don't know if you like to sell products, if you like to sell goods. I always tell people to try to create their own brand
Yes.
products. You know, whether you can mix your own perfume, you know how to make soap, you know how to make lotion. That's a good way to put some money to the side to put towards your student loan debt as well. Capitalize off of the skills that you have outside of your degree. You might make music. You know, you could sell your beats online. You could sell your lyrics online. You can become a publisher for your music content. If you make T-shirts, make T-shirts. Out here, people can make money even if you don't have any money to start. Mind you, like sites like Zazzle. If you go to Zazzle, if you have an image that's your image and you would like to put it on tennis shoes or a T-shirt or a sweatsuit, at Zazzle you can do that for free, and you have your own little store where people come and purchase your items. And mind you, you're not going to get like 100% of the monies, but until you're able to save enough money to build your own website and things of that nature, it's a good tool to start and still earn money off of your product and your
Absolutely.
logo.
Absolutely. And that's so mirroring entrepreneurship, the hustle,
Mm-hmm.
the quick gig jobs. I'm gonna share my screen real quick. I'm gonna show. Just tell me if you can see it. Let me see. Share screen, and I'm gonna share the top 50. Let's see. Let me know. Can you see this?
Yes, yes, I see it.
Okay, so let's start off. So these are the top 50 jobs that are that someone can get right out of college, both either traditional or online. So we have petroleum engineering. That's those rig jobs you were speaking about.
Oh yeah,
102,000 to 176. Petroleum engineers, they for those who want to know, help locate natural reservoirs of petroleum deposits.
awesome,
Let's see what we
awesome.
got next. arbitrary mathematics. Those are people good with their math.
Hmm.
Arbitrary is a business professional who analyzes the financial consequences of risk.
Yes,
Business.
any actuary position, you're going to start off at least 65,000 a year. That's a good field to get into. Insurance companies will always be willing to hire you as an actuary. Museums will hire you as an actuary.
Wow.
If you're good with auditing, if you're good at analyzing information and you find flaws in it faster than other people, you'll want to consider being an actuary.
Wow, I never thought about that. And I'm real good in auditing. Um, do you have nuclear engineering, chemical engineering coming in at number four, electronics and communication engineering, computer science engineer,
Hmm.
aerospace engineer, engineering leading the way, of course. I mean, I know I don't hear a lot of students talking about engineering. I think I have about three students I know that's into engineering.
You got we are going to see a lot of engineering positions open up because a lot of the outsourcing that the United States has placed in India, into Africa, in China, in China and Korea, that's going to stop.
Yes, keep talking.
So, so a lot of those job markets are going to open up more so for people in the states because a lot of the outsourcing companies last year, when they did their auditing for 2015, found that there was a lot of fraud and shrink with the
Mm,
accounts that were audited. So security,
wow,
even cybersecurity, you can even go into that.
wow. So for
Yes.
yes, and that's it's forensics. Audit forensics or forensics auditing, business and information technology.
Uh-huh.
Yep. They get in economist.
Yes, economists, good numbers cruncher, forecasters. If you can take
Oh yeah.
numbers and see things in the future, or come to uh,
Yes.
consensus about what you foresee in numbers. And I call them number readers,
Yes.
but that's a good field to go into.
Exactly. Applied mathematics,
That's for
mathematician.
people who are great at any type of business mathematics. If they have
Yes.
what they call linear or objective algebra skills, where you see
Hmm.
algebra as a business math or make or criteria, that would be a good field to go into.
Yes. Biomedical art, and as we said, engineer, of course, leading the way. Aviation management. Everything's in the sky. Computer information management, construction management,
Hmm. And
biotechnology.
you notice a lot of these job descriptions, not only do they have the ability to sustain an income, but they also have the ability to sustain entrepreneurship as well.
Yes.
With yes, with these types of degrees, not only are you profitable in the working sector of the world, but you're also profitable in creating jobs, which I foresee the next 4 years to entail more so monies that are going to be given to people to create job and work opportunities as well.
Absolutely. And so we get the for the most part. Absolutely. And I'm glad you said that because there was a panelist who she was a hiring manager, and she spoke about that not only are they looking for people just to work, they looking for folks creators,
Hmm.
they want to match that, a lot of money goes into research and development, so they're because they were technical individuals. They had developers. They were looking for people with skills to come in with the so that they don't have to go out and do the research to put the information together to develop. So she was like, most people will sleep on certain technical jobs because they are business majors or human resource or logistics, but she was like, we
Right.
need your information to be able to develop what it is we're trying to do.
Right. And that's
So
what they do. They a lot of they call them business analysis or management analysis in the federal government. And if you can take systems and you see numbers, or if you see spreadsheets differently, a lot of times they select those types of workers over structured workers who do things always to the T, to the book. Because if you see things differently,
mhm,
which is a good thing, a lot of times they can create more systems, or use you to create more ways to provide information that corporations are working with, and it leads to what they call acquisitions for other companies to
yes,
be able, yes, to be able to be involved with that business.
absolutely. And so when I communicate information like this to most of the students, of course, they're going to, well, I want to major in this and I want to major in that. And that's fine. And I always say, sometimes you have to maximize your potential and don't. Another thing that came out of the discussion was flexibility. What if, I think a guy asked a question in an audience, and he said, I've been working for 20 plus years. I was a career expert in my field, and then all of a sudden we were no longer needed.
Right,
And I felt a little lost because I didn't have another skill set. And so now I had to
right,
go out and get another skill set. And so he was like, my advice to the millennials is that don't get stuck field. When you become a subject matter expert, maybe you could close the cap on that and go do something else, and move
right.
around, maneuver around, stay flexible, continue to enhance your skills. But when you get stuck in one career field, change comes, and it comes with or without you.
Yes. I can give you an example. I started out in the BRAC TCU program when I was 18 years old. I went into telecommunications at 19, and technology has evolved so much. By the time I was about 30 years old, I was working as a senior account representative in telecommunications for Verizon, but our jobs were phased out to India. But
Mhm.
what I always try to do with whatever corporation or good job that I land is to be a part of every training and
Yeah,
certification course that I can obtain while I'm working for them, so that not only are they paying me while I'm there, so you're going to pay me whether I'm here or not. So
absolutely.
I take those certifications that they provide, any training that they give you, anything that says SGMT in front of the serial number, take it.
Yes.
Those are life skills, which you can apply to everyday living.
Yes. When we I work, of course, to just come out of retirement on a state job as an internal auditor, and they would offer different training courses. They had like the True Colors personality test. I wanted to be certified in that. The diversity, culture diversity. I wanted to be certified in that. Preventive crisis measures. They was like, why do you go to all these trainings? I was like, I gotta keep my option open.
That's right. That's right.
Because I was so used to in the military that every level, every promotion you got, you didn't stay the clerk the entire time. You didn't stay the squad leader the entire time. You had to move in to other positions. So depending on what your rank was whether or not you could be in the strategic side of the military. Um, And then so you move once you start getting in the senior rank, you got the opportunity to start being a planner,
Mm.
dealing with the op orders, or
A
being in
scheduler.
control.
Yes.
Yes, you got to be EO, equal opportunity advisor, or maybe sexual assault, or maybe uh, something maybe physical out there, but anything, instructor, uh,
Hmm.
just different things, career counselor, recruiter. You got to do different things depending on what your rank was. So even though you went in for a particular job, the more rank you obtain, the more opportunities you got to learn different areas. So a lot of times when I talk to
Yeah.
the college students, they're stuck right there, whatever it is that they're in. I want to major in mass communications. Nope, I don't want to do this. Nope, I don't want to do that. And so I'm like, okay, have you checked the job market for mass communications? Do you have an idea what career field that you're going to go into, or what's the job titles now? Because those titles change, those descriptions change.
Hmm.
No, I haven't done that. Spoke to a few seniors, and they were getting ready. They're going to be graduating in May. So I was like, "Have you already started job searching?" Yes, I just put in applications everywhere. No rhyme, no reason. So what
Hmm.
will happen if you don't get a job? Those student loans will take in effect six
Yes.
months, and some of them even earlier upon graduation.
Yes. And that's the importance of networking while you are a student. You have to be able to reach out to your niche, or the major that you're in. If you're a mass communications major, guess what? You need to be talking to people who are mass communications majors who work at these Fortune 500 companies that are making the type of money that you want to make. The more they see your face into these organizations, the more they believe that you are ready and willing to take part in that position. You know about it. You're familiar with what they do. Only person that can sell you is you.
Exactly. Exactly. And so you may mention earlier about, not just taking all of your college time just to do academics and prepare for the afterlife, but to have a little fun and enjoy. One of the things I like to facilitate to them is that you need to get an agenda book, and so that you would make time, what days out of the month that you would spend time understanding what is life going to be like after college.
Hmm. I agree.
What direction, or joining us, like you may mention, joining an association. You can join as early as high school, that so that you can be amongst those career professionals, so that you can have an understanding what you're getting involved with, and possibly even get scholarships. I'm noticing, having conversations with different associations, and they're having a hard time getting students to apply, so they have
Yes.
money
Yeah.
allocated and they don't want to give it to.
I tell you what, and a lot of times our students, and when I say our students, I mean African American students, don't take the time to look and see where they want to be at 10 and 15 years from now. Wherever you want to work at. If you say, hey, I'm going to work for Verizon, well, you know what you need to do while you're in school? You need to see what Verizon offers people who want to work for them. You
Yes.
need to see what type of internships and free monies they're giving away. And you need to be passionate about that
Yes.
niche. When I say niche, I mean that market
Yes. Because
that you want to become a part of.
instead of going in as a clerk, you could possibly go in as a manager
Right.
with no experience. I know we have when I was still working with the state, they would hire in. I mean, they would bring in interns, and those interns would start. Some of them, they would start like in their junior year. Some of them would be in the master's program. If they were dealing with counseling, they would take them in the master's program, and then if they were just regular undergraduates, they would take them the junior year, and then if they stayed for their last 2 years of school, we would hire them because they would already have known the work. They've been there 2 years.
Hmm.
um, and so those are some. So we know those are some. preventive measures to mitigating how much student loan debt that one gets involved with. Um, so let's speak to the individuals who already graduated. They're they're late millenniums, the 30 something year olds got the student loans, anywhere from 10,000 to 120,000, and are trying to find their way in paying these back. Can't afford it. Is it possible to contact the student Department of Education, or student where the or the student loan, go to the student loan website and contact them and uh, negotiate an amount that you can pay per month?
No. Um, Once you're not able to like pick your own price. No, it's like that's called like an a la carte repayment, and a lot of times they don't uh, allow you, not even if you're like disabled and you decide you want to pay your loans back. They don't give you an a la carte amount. It goes specifically by your income. That's the only thing wonderful that they can do for you is is take your repayment amount according to your income. They can't provide you with a $1 guarantee for the rest of your life. They can't uh, give you a guarantee of paying $40 a month for the rest of your life. That's one of the worst things about having a student loan. It's like you cannot, a repayment that you feel is feasible. Come on now, we're dealing with the federal government here.
Yes, um that's awesome. I mean, you said it because I mean, there's some people they're like, man, it only goes on my income. Can I get this stuff forgiven? Can I get it discharged? Can I, what can I do? And I'm like, repayment program, you know.
They'll find a perfect repayment plan for you, but they will not forgive and they will not give you what you want. No.
Yes,
Uh-uh.
exactly. And but it's not, I don't, I don't think it's the end of the world, but for most people they're going to have to get a hand on it, because if they don't already own a home, it's preventing them from owning a home.
It is preventing them from getting a home, but I can say that if you are married and you and your spouse both have student loan debt, you might want to try and apply for what they call a spousal consolidation. Um,
Mhm.
and it can also go by your income. You can get a income based repayment too, that's based on you and your spouse's income, student loan income debt.
Yes.
It won't be the monthly amount that you feel as though that you would like to have. And I can also tell you that
Yes.
your
Yes, I definitely.
your loans are going to have to be in repayment. Your loans are going to have to be in repayment, and there's a certain amount that you're going to have to be paying every month in order to acquire a mortgage or
Yes.
mortgage.
Yes.
And
So
that's where we
I
and
know.
that's where we come in at too. With AMT student loan repayments, our goal is to get you into a repayment so that you can
Okay, so
up
the
enough.
repayment, let's say it is. So once a person decides, it's like, you know what, boom, I know I'm gonna have to pay this, and I get into a repayment. How quick does their student loans come out of default? As soon as they start paying, right?
It takes up to 6 months before they clear that and place your loans back with that servicer to get your loans back into a regular repayment. So if you go into default, know that you need a consistent payment of 6 months, at least 6 months before it comes out of default.
Okay, and I mean, it's worth waiting for if you want to try to get some type of traction, and then you need to
Right.
remain consistent. Um,
Yes,
and
your
so
payments.
I guess the hardest part is that if it is income based and they go off your well, let me ask you this. Okay, so it's income based and they go off your income. So once you give them a list of your, because they're gonna ask you, for your expenses. They're gonna or they're taking in consideration, you
When
know.
you go into default, nothing is taken into consideration but a regular repayment. Meaning
Mm,
they're not gonna go by your income. They're gonna take the regular repayment amount from you, and that's adding all the interest that you've accrued from a non-payment, a monthly amount to pay, and you have to make that payment amount hurt if whether it hurts or not after you've been in a default repayment for a certain amount of time. Then it will take you out of that and allow you to go into an income driven repayment plan or an IDR.
yes. Okay. Well, those are some definitely great information, and definitely if you give Alicia, give them the name of your website and the Facebook
Absolutely.
page.
It is AMTB. That's A as in Apple, M as in Mary, T as in Tom, D as in dog. Student Loan Consultants 123.com.
Awesome. And that's the okay, that's the website, right?
Yep.
That's the website. So let me repeat just in case you guys didn't hear, and I'll put it in the chat. AMTD Student Loan Consultants. And that's also the Facebook page for those of you who are there on social media. Again,
Yeah.
if you send a question through either the website or the Facebook page, Alicia is always quick to answer. But there are people out here who are willing to help, has the expertise and the knowledge and the information. So don't go into a panic. There's people who know. I know a lot of people, they're afraid to even talk about their student loans, or they admit they didn't even have them, and they'll just let them go into default. Especially those newly graduates out of either the undergrad or the master's program. And then when they try to, go forward with life, those student loans arise on that credit report, and then they're wild. Like, what am I going to do about this? And most people don't know where to go to look for the list of the student loans, because they may either bounce from school to school.
Mm-hmm.
Like a situation that happened with me is I had one of I had switched the PhD school when I was in the PhD program, and switched to school. And the last school, somehow I don't know why it wasn't on the list, but um I had student loan repayment from the military, and I was trying to wipe out the darn loan, and I didn't know where it went. So I thought I was paying my
Mm-hmm.
student loans, and I had one just sitting out there, had went into default. Oh my gosh, I had to get it out, but they helped me. I was able to get. Well, I'm working on it now, getting it out and putting it
Pull
back
it
where it
back.
needs to
Yeah.
be, because I could not get the repayment plan. I couldn't get the military to pay for it unless it was on the list,
Mm-hmm.
and it had gone to another company, and um they a
Yeah, it could
collection
be
issue.
detrimental.
Yes,
Yeah. Especially if you have a what they call a variable interest rate on that loan. That
yes.
interest rate could go up and down. So if you don't find it, it could almost double.
I know, and it
Mm-hmm.
did. Because I was like, I don't owe them that much, but I got it. I got it now. I get it under control now. But and I was up there. I thought I was paying off my student loans, and all of a sudden, they took my taxes, and I was like, wait a minute, I'm paying for this. So when I called, they was like, no, these are in good standing, but you have one another company. I'm like, what other company? That's when the change on that stuff was made. So I had to take care of that. So lesson learned, y'all out there. Don't do like don't you have to know what's on your list, and make sure that everything is listed once you get higher, such higher education like I did. I was like, oh my God, I should have stayed with the master's program.
Yeah,
But
I advise it. I advise it to anybody that's going to college now. If you can stick it out and go beyond your bachelor's, go ahead and do it because place your loans in a 25-year repayment, but it won't be that stressful. Whereas though it's taking up your repayment is taking up a big portion of your income.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at your education as a lifelong reward, uh, an extended repayment plan may be best for you. 25 years of repayment, and it probably will be like if you make like 60 to 70,000, let's just at the bottom end, maybe like $200 a month. That's not going to really hurt you too much.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. No, 200 is not gonna hurt. So the last thing I want to talk about is the teachers. I know what is it, Title One, where teachers couldn't
Uh
qualify.
huh.
But
Yes.
I'm trying
Yes.
to figure out why that some teachers aren't. So do you have to enrolled in a program with that school prior to being hired in order to take advantage of the Title One?
I would before when you decide that you want to try to get the loan forgiveness for the TLF teachers loan forgiveness, that it is a school that is covered under Title One, and that normally means a disadvantaged school. But you also have to make sure that you're teaching your specialty teaching to special education students who need help with reading and or math.
Oh,
That's the criteria, and a lot of teachers are TLF. They think it's a quote unquote bad school, a bad area, and they make the assumption that it is a Title One school, but it isn't. And they're not teaching the subjects that are required under the TLF to get the loan forgiveness.
mm. So can you be can you be a substitute and qualify for that? Or no?
No, you have to be a full-time teacher. Is a certain amount of I believe it's teaching hours that you have to commit to in order to qualify for TLF.
Okay, definitely, definitely.
Now,
Um,
some people qualify for that and the public service loan forgiveness if they're doing the teaching and the like public service also. They're like health administrators that go out and do like work with children that have special needs and stuff like that, but they have a certain amount of hours they have to acquire too.
needs and math are the two areas that
Math and
qualify.
reading.
And reading,
Yep.
math, reading, and special education.
Hmm.
Man, I would be. I wish if I had known that before, I'd be a bit of math teacher. Right, straight to math. And so let me ask you this now. I'm not an educator, so I don't know much about going into the teaching profession. But if you got a degree, you can go in and teach and give you about 3 years to pass that certification, right?
I don't know how it varies on state, and I know
Mhm.
that they changed it in Maryland maybe
Okay,
about 2 or 3 years ago, but I don't the certifications are different now thanks to Obama, but
I know.
a lot of teachers have been really PO'd about the certification hours and then the testing that they have to take after it to
Yes.
secure their teaching degrees now.
Yeah.
You have
Yeah, I know.
you do have to be
I know things
certified
are gonna
too. You have to be certified.
Yeah. But I know now for the military personnel, we have a program, the Troops to Teachers program, where you come out if you have 6 years of active duty and you go to one of those Title One schools and they give you about 3 years to get, the certification. That helps out or whatnot. But anyways, I just encourage I know we've been on for, oh God, I think an hour now. I just want to encourage individuals out there to do your research, communicate with the school. Let one of the places that you visit is that financial aid office, you and your
Hmm.
parent. to understand exactly what you're getting involved in prior to going to school. And if you haven't already done
Yes.
so, do your career vision board that actually shows. Let me put that up real quick. That actually helps you out with planning your college, planning your career field, and there's a lot of individuals who are not. They just saying, "Oh, my child is going to college," or the child is saying, "Oh, I'm going to attend college," and they have no idea. They just know they're going to college, and then they're expecting the school to guide and lead them. When the school is looking at them to say,
Yep.
"Okay, what it is you want to do."
Right. Yep. And I know you'll probably have more on student loans, um, Monica, but shoot, it starts
Yes.
at that master promissory note, and also for parents who are signing off on um, Parent Plus loans, um, an appeal decision. You can apply for credit if you're doing like a private funding from a bank for a student loan. If you get denied, you can apply like for an appeal. But those Parent Plus loans, a lot of parents think that once their child gets out of school, that it's that child's responsibility. But nope.
Exactly. Yeah, you keep on thinking that gonna happen. I'm gonna.
Right.
It's not going down. Hey, you signed them papers. You are a responsibility.
Uh-huh.
Yes, ma'am. Let me bring up this little. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, I see it.
Yeah, so I kind of came up with this little career vision board for students so they get an understanding because, they choose their career field, whatever it may be, just some words of encouragement or what excites you, what keeps you going. But they have to learn to get them a coach or mentor and preferably someone in the career field in which you're going to study. So if it was me, I'm an accounting major. I'm looking for an auditor, a CPA, or maybe a tax person, depending on what I want to do. Somebody who can lead me, guide me while I'm in school, give me some do's and don'ts, some advantages, some pros and cons of being in that career field. And then if I
Hmm.
have questions about what's going on, they can help me out. And then choosing the school, research the school, make sure that it's actually it's the major that you want, whatever you want you're interested in, that they actually have that major. Make sure that school is accredited, whether you're online in a traditional school or a non-traditional school or even a tech school. Don't sleep on the tech schools. For some people who don't really want to be in college for a very long time, can need to consider the CLIP program. And then an association, once you find a school, find out if there's an alumni group in your area that, maybe some individuals who participated in that school or attended that school or graduates of that school, they would love alumni people. They love, students, especially if they're active. They love to talk and brag about their school. So they're going to help you out whatever way you can. Perfect example of that, my niece and my little cousin, I kid you not, since they decided to go to the school, they have so much support you wouldn't believe. So they didn't. Matter of fact, I have to send up a profile right now because someone called and said, "Hey, this organization is interested in giving out money. I need to, have a profile on them so that we can write some checks for them to have some money for school next year." So that's what affiliation does for students. Maybe it's I called down to there's a young lady who's interested in a nursing program in my hometown in Naples, Louisiana, and um she wants to major in nursing. So I called, my cousin used to be the president of the nursing association down there. So I called down there because there's a new president to find out what are some eligibility requirements for to join the association. And so of course they was welcoming that, and then it was like, yes, join now, do some community service. We have scholarship money. So the associations are a huge benefit to students who are transitioning to college or already in college. And then come up with your short term and long term goals while you're in school, not throughout your entire life. Just as it pertains to that particular degree field and you graduating out of college. And then long term goals, where you want to work, if you do want to work, do you want to be an entrepreneur, do you want to open up a small business, how is that going to work? And then funding. After you've gone through all of that, you should have at least some idea where some money can come from. And I guarantee you, if you can get a mentor in that career field, you connect to that school and that association, find out what funding that the school may have. Can't stress it enough. The financial aid renewal opened up October the 1st. If you have not already renewed, or you are this is going to be your first year, the fall semester is going to be your first year in college, then you need to go on right now. Use your 2015 tax returns to do that renewal or start that application. The earlier you get it done, the more opportunities you will have for money. And so this is just a little temple example that I like to share with the students. Anything else you want to add, Miss Alicia?
No, Monica, it has definitely been a pleasure speaking to you. I hope that you add me in your future hangouts. It's been a pleasure.
High five. Hey, appreciate it. Much love. We definitely have to have more of a conversation. We gotta hear, try to hopefully um I wanted to make sure that we did an initial video. So I know there's some people who always asking questions and we can add to them, and then maybe we can get some people involved and listening in, especially the millennials who are out there who have the student loans and just don't have a clue on what to do and where to go, so we could get the questions so we can give out more fruitful and substance information, because I know you got a lot of knowledge.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
This is my baby right here. I love talking and helping students, especially the millennial babies with student
Yeah.
loans. I also really enjoy helping extended education people who are older, who are going back to school, and specialty people who are going to school to get the public service loan forgiveness, teacher loan forgiveness. With those are my pet peeves.
Great. That's awesome. And so one last time, give out that website.
It is AMTD Student Loan Consultants 123.com.
Awesome. And you also can hit her up on Facebook. You can inbox me. And for those who are out there, I briefly touch on student loans. We have the Dagger Squad with Garfield, who do a show on Wednesday from 6 to 7 with Black News 102, the Sinetta. We talk about urban economic empowerments, but we toss out a little information on student loans and credit lines and credit reports and government contract and drop shipment and service contracts, as well as a few scholarships. So we encourage y'all to tune in to any community social media platform that is giving out information that can help you, your family, or maybe even your peers. Also, got to give a shout out to the Sheshman Another group, where we learn how to read the hieroglyphs under Ujawu, who's the instructor. So they have a Wednesday night, Divine Word Wednesday, or Sabbathon, and a Freestyle Friday, where they just use notebooks and study and learn how to read the hieroglyphs. And hey, if you're going to be in New York on December 18th, I'll be there. And you have questions or you need to ask anything, you can connect with me and I can facilitate back with Miss Alicia. We'll probably try to do a hangout while we're there and get some questions. And so many people have so many questions that we don't know of. And that's why I was like, you know what, we need to start doing little hangouts and putting out some videos, because if the person doesn't want to communicate with us directly, then they can watch the video and get as much information and then possibly go to your website and get more help. And so that's the goal.
Absolutely.
High five, lady. Well, you have a good night. Peace and love. Talk to you later.